they don't want to show the gathering of like 30 people walking along the street just chanting names. They want to show you the 5 people busting up a police car. It was just like a movie moment, you know? Eventually we wound up walking on the highway.
Gimme justice right away. Gimme justice. Gimme justice.
I'm Taylor, and I'm going to be talking about what the media doesn't show you when it comes to Black Lives Matter protests. So first off, Black Lives Matter. Also happy Pride Month to all of my LGBT subscribers and friends and family. So if you couldn't tell, I'm Black. Surprise. Lately, what's been going on has been hitting me and all my friends and family and my whole community very hard. And I just wanted to show you guys what it's actually like at one of the Black Lives Matter protests, because the media is, of course, skewing the narrative a lot. The media works on views for their advertisements, so it basically functions like YouTube, where they want whatever is going to get people to tune in. They just show the very few people who are rioting. I've been to multiple peaceful protests. I went to the original Women's March in DC, March for Our Lives. I went to a couple of those, and I've also been to several Black Lives Matter protests. So I'm just gonna show you guys what it's like to protest in DC for your basic human rights. Let's get into it. I'm gonna run you through my morning routine real quick. I woke up, laid in bed, thinking about what's going on. Eventually I had to motivate myself, rolled over, checked my phone, checked the news, checked up on friends. Once I got tired of seeing people be brutalized on Twitter, I made my way over to the bathroom, brushed my teeth, did my skincare, because of course my skin barrier has to be as strong as the new barrier President Trump put up around the White House to keep out his own people who are protesting and using their First Amendment rights. After that, I made myself some waffles because I love waffles. And then I painted a sign for the protest that I was going to that day with my family. While it dried, I cleaned my room and then I got dressed. I chose to wear black running shorts with some walking shoes and a workout tank top because it was supposed to be 90 degrees and humid. So I packed up my bag and we're gonna go into a brief segment called What's in My Protest Bag? So I had a wallet with my ID and some cash, a water bottle full of ice and water, a protein bar with almonds and grapes, hand sanitizer, of course, a mask, sunglasses, and lip balm. Also, if you are pale or fair-skinned, I recommend bringing sunscreen. Also, I recommend bringing sunscreen even if you're black, TBH, because you're gonna be in the sun all day and UV rays are not good for anyone, no matter the shade. So eventually my family made our way over to DC, and as we got closer to the center of DC where the protests were happening, I started to notice that more and more buildings were boarded up, which was super just eerie to see. As we made our way over to Lafayette Square and the now renamed Black Lives Matter place, it just felt more and more like a block party. There was Black Lives Matter spray painted across the ground so big you can't even read it when you're standing there. There was music playing, people were dancing to the wobble.
Get him off!
People were giving out free food. There were food trucks, there were kids, old people, people of every shape and size, signs everywhere. It was just a great feeling seeing all these people come together. And of course the news doesn't really show you that. My family and I made our way to the fence that Trump erected for his own safety or whatever. And I saw some National Guardsmen walking in. Also, my favorite part of going to protests is seeing how creative people get with their signs and ways of protest. I saw a paper mache miniature baby Trump balloon. I also saw a dude on a unicycle. I actually saw a lot of unicycles. There was an old man banging pots as we walked by.
King!
So, of course, we were there to march, so we marched and kneeled.
No peace! No peace! No peace!
We basically followed the crowd wherever they were going. They were kind of organized, but I think that they could have used a louder megaphone. And 2, told people where we were marching. So eventually we wound up walking on the highway. then also we walked through a interstate tunnel, which was absolutely just insane. Just hearing all the chants echoing off the walls. And then as we all got closer to the light at the end of the tunnel, we all started like cheering, and it was just like a movie moment, you know? As we marched, there were people giving out food everywhere. A bunch of businesses opened up their bathrooms for people who were marching to stop in, and eventually my bag, which started off with only a few things, was just full of food, and there was so much water everywhere because people were getting dehydrated, and I saw someone suffering from what looked like heat stroke. She was surrounded by people who were concerned for her health and well-being, even if they didn't know her. When we walked past the National Guard at one point, we all started clapping and cheering, and there weren't really a lot of cops everywhere. They were just there to section off where we were walking, which is what they should have been doing from the beginning of all of this, but you know, they're learning, I think. But what they don't tell you about protests is that they are so tiring, especially in the summer when people are really protesting, because we walked like 7 miles that day, which may not sound like a lot, but when you're walking in the heat of DC, shouting the whole time, holding a sign, trying to drink water, not really eating full meals, it gets to you. So eventually, once we made our way to the Lincoln Memorial, my mom and I just had to stop. And it was at that point that we went home and we got takeout, and I wound up watching Criminal Minds for the rest of the night. That is what it's like to go protesting in the nation's capital, DC. Overall, it was a great moment. It filled me with a lot of hope. I saw so many people my age and younger out speaking for what we all believed in, fighting for our rights. And actually, most of the people who were giving out food were like my age, college students. I saw so many different types of signs, like Koreans for Black Lives Matter, Indigenous people for Black Lives Matter, Latinas for Black Lives Matter. This is why we protest, for moments like this, and to get hope and to get actual reform and change. So, overall, successful protest. It was peaceful. If you haven't noticed, most protests are peaceful. A lot of the media doesn't show that. They don't want to show the gathering of like 30 people walking along the street just chanting names. They want to show you the 5 people busting up a police car. And that is extremely frustrating. But yeah, I hope that you know now to get the news from different sources. I don't really know how to end this video. Black Lives Matter, of course. There are going to be links and places to donate in the description. And I hope you have a good day. Take care of your mental health. Take care of your friends and family. But check your friends and family if they do say the wrong thing. Well, not the wrong thing. Well, there's a wrong thing if they're racist. Anyway, I'm gonna go.
Gimme justice right away. Gimme justice. Gimme justice. Gimme justice right away. Gimme justice like today.